Hello there. What happens if you take a 1989 Nissan Bluebird, rip out its petrol engine and replace it with the electric motor from a crashed Nissan Leaf? Well, you get the Nissan Newbird, which is a custom-made, one-off bespoke vehicle we can have a look at now. And I think you're really going to like this. Welcome to CarSpyTV. So, this is the Nissan Newbird, and I've been lucky enough to have a look around it. It started life decades ago as a 1.8 GS petrol, but it's now been fully converted to an electric vehicle by a company called Kinghorn Electric Vehicles. Now, if you ignore the rather garish colour scheme that makes my eyeballs melt, the car looks more or less standard from the outside, but nonetheless, there are a few telltale signs that confirm it's been modified. For example, there's no exhaust pipe. There's just a cutout here in the rear bumper where the exhaust used to be. We also have a green Newbird badge here on the tailgate rather than a Bluebird badge. And finally, here at the front grille, we have a Nissan badge that can optionally light up if you press a button inside the car. However, you can only legally light up the Nissan badge on private land. If you do it on a public road, you're going to get in trouble with this guy. So let's have a look under the bonnet, and here, roughly under this black plastic cover, we'll find an electric motor, a gearbox and indeed the inverter from a crashed 2016 Mark I Nissan Leaf. The motor produces about 107 horsepower, which is more than the original petrol engine that had about 90. Now, the Nissan Newbird has a 40 kilowatt hour battery to power its electric motor. This battery is from a later Nissan Leaf, specifically a Mark II, and it contains 24 modules. Now, these modules are split between the front of the car and indeed the rear for better weight distribution. So, we have 8 modules here in the front next to the electric motor, and the rest are here in the boot. As you can see, the boot is more or less full, so there's not much room for your shopping, but never mind. As for charging, the it's a Newbird. The Newbird has a Type 1 charger, which is the old-fashioned type, and you can find it behind the car's original fuel flap. Now, as for the interior, once again, the car looks more or less stock, but there are nonetheless one or two things that confirm it isn't. Most obvious is that we have this large rotary dial between the front seats rather than a traditional gear stick. This is how you put the automatic transmission into drive, reverse or neutral. We also have a button down here to the right that turns on the heater and the air then comes out the car's traditional vents. And this button down here, just below and to the left of the rotary dial, that's how you turn on the illuminated badge on the grille. When you're on private land, of course. Other things to bear in mind are that the rev counter now permanently reads 0 because, well, there's no engine. And the fuel gauge, rather than tell you how much petrol is in the tank, tells you how much electricity is in the battery. The car's estimated maximum range is about 130 miles. Okay, I have a few more interesting facts to tell you. Number 1, the car, now it's been converted, only weighs between 30 and 35 kilograms more than it did originally. And do you remember that pink livery I showed you earlier on the outside of the car? Well, that pink matches the colour of the letters on the top of the fuse box in the engine bay, so presumably that's why it's there. And also, this conversion has been done quite sympathetically. Nobody, for example, has taken a big chainsaw and hacked out great big sections of the bodywork in order to install the battery. So, if you felt so inclined, you could simply remove all these modern electrical bits and pieces and turn the car back into a box standard 1.8 litre petrol GS. Now, all this is very interesting, but what is the purpose of the Nissan Newbird? Well, it was created in 2021 to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the opening of Nissan's Sunderland plant here in the United Kingdom. And guess what? The very first car produced at that plant was a Nissan Bluebird. and between 1986 and 1990, 187,178 were produced there, of which my father had one, and now, today, that same plant builds the Nissan Leaf. So we have a nice circle of life scenario. Now I'm interested to know what you think about this conversion. Perhaps you love it because it's made an old car relevant again. Perhaps, in contrast, you hate it because it's ripped the soul out of a much loved classic car. Either way, you can have your say in the comment section of this video. Also, if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV. Can you also please do me a favour and click like on this video, and I'll see you next time, quite probably in a different type of Nissan. Farewell!